What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Season 2 Reloaded update for Modern Warfare 3 came with a few hidden things that weren't initially mentioned, as well as a handful of issues. So today, we're going to be going over all of this, just miscellaneous stuff that didn't show up in the patch notes, at least at the time of the update launching. And diving right into it, let's just start this off with the Stim Shot buff. This is something that several people were noticing, and yet it wasn't mentioned anywhere in the patch notes. Essentially, after they used the Stim Shot, they noticed 25 seconds later, it would replenish itself. And initially, I thought maybe this is tied to a vest, and this is just like a hidden update with that vest, but I tested multiple vests, and they were all recharging stims in 25 seconds, which definitely didn't happen before this update. And yesterday, Sledgehammer did confirm with a tweet that this is in fact intentional, and they've now added it to the patch notes. Stim shots will now automatically replenish no matter which perks or vest or anything that you're using every 25 seconds. And I think this is great. Stim shots used to be pretty powerful early on in the game's lifecycle, but then we got that default health regeneration buff with Season 2, so that was great to see. And on top of that, we saw a big med box buff, which made them really powerful. And with those two buffs, it kind of made the Stim shots useless. With the new health regeneration, by the time you complete the animation for the Stim Shot, you would have already started the healing process just naturally. And as a result, while you could still technically get back up to full health faster with a Stim Shot compared to the default health regeneration, that gap between default health regeneration and Stim Shot regeneration shrunk drastically, meaning Stim Shots weren't really all that useful, especially since you only get one per life, or two if you're using the Engineer Vest. So personally, I'm on board with this change, making those Stim Shots regenerate every 25 seconds. I think that's very reasonable. I don't think that's overpowered at all. And I'm also all on board with anything that may encourage people to branch out away from stuns and flashes, because those can be pretty frustrating to deal with, even if you're using Tac Mask. Also with this, something I wanted to point out is with the Demolition Vest, this is the vest that has that ability to recharge equipment every 25 seconds, and it would work pre-patch with stims as well. How does this work now post-patch with stims? Do we gain any additional benefits, or are we just basically wasting that section of the perk on the Stim Shots? Well, it turns out they did consider this, and if you combine Demolition Vest with Stim Shots, your stims will be regenerating in just 12.5 seconds now, which is awesome to see. Now, on a somewhat similar note, there's something else that people generally thought was bugged with the updates because it wasn't mentioned officially anywhere, but Sledgehammer has confirmed that this was intentional. This is with the new Soulrender melee weapon. It's actually designed to counter riot shields. You can slice right through a riot shield and kill that enemy player, which is awesome. And it's just something I wanted to throw in here on today's video. I am still planning on doing a full breakdown of that melee weapon, but I have a few videos to cover before we end up getting to that one. As for the next thing that was added with the Season 2 Reloaded updates, and I don't think this was officially mentioned anywhere, it just sort of showed up on its own. This is a brand new optic that everybody just got for free. You don't even have to do anything to unlock it. And this is called the Close Quarters Classic Reflex. And with this one, it's a throwback. This is basically just the COD 4 red dot sight, which is actually quite a nice clean sight, and I think a very viable option in this game. And while for myself, I'm probably still going to be leaning toward the Mark III reflector since I like that open top frame, this additional optic that they added is excellent. So there we go, there's just a few things that I've noticed since the Season 2 Reloaded update that I've had a lot of people questioning me about, so hopefully that clears a few things up. Now let's talk about some new issues that popped up with this update. It seems anytime there is a large update, they fix a bunch of things, but then they end up breaking a few things here or there as well. And the first thing I'm sure many of you guys noticed right away, the latency widget in-game is broken, or at least at the time of recording this video, it's broken, and it will just show NA for your latency, which can obviously be quite frustrating if you're used to being able to check that really quickly. Just a quick note with this one, you can still check what your latency is in that game by opening up your menu, then going to your account and network settings and opening that up, and then from there, you will be able to see your latency value. So if you just want to check to see like what kind of ping you have to the current server that you're playing on, that's at least one method of doing that. Obviously, that's not nearly as convenient as just glancing up to the top left of your screen on that widget, but at least it provides a method of checking the current connection that you're dealing with. I should also mention with this, Sledgehammer has acknowledged this. It is on their Trello board, and they are currently investigating this issue. So again, hopefully we'll see a fix for this in the not too distant future. And speaking of that Trello board, let's talk about a few other things that Sledgehammer has officially acknowledged, and something they're currently investigating that I have mentioned already is the factory iron sight for the XRK Stalker. This is a brand new sniper iron sight they added to the game, which looks quite nice, and I know a lot of people are excited for this. That still can't be unlocked, again, at least at the time of recording this video. Sometimes they fix these things quite quickly, like before the video renders and gets uploaded. But again, hopefully we should see a fix for that one soon. And then let's talk about a persisting issue that popped back up on the Trello board, because initially they said they had fixed this, and apparently that didn't go through, so they actually moved this back to the fixed scheduled section. This is saving a custom mod will remove certain camos from the weapon, and the one big camo that many people have an issue with here is Interstellar. If you try to put Interstellar on your gun and then save that custom mod, it won't save the Interstellar camo on that. With the Season 2 Reloaded update, it was expected that this would be fixed, and like I said, they actually moved this into the resolved category on their Trello. However, it looks like it didn't actually go through properly, and people are still running into this same issue, so they've moved it back to the fixed scheduled section. So hopefully with the next update, we will end up seeing a fix for this. At the end of the day, this isn't like a massive game-breaking issue or anything. It's just a little quality of life thing that would be nice to be working properly. But it is something I wanted to bring up just in case you're confused, because the patch notes said that this should be fixed, and it simply isn't yet. And now that we have that out of the way, another issue that's popped up in-game that a lot of people have noticed, and at least at the time of recording this video, it hasn't been acknowledged by Sledgehammer yet. This is, it appears we may only have 149 HP in public matches right now. And you can see this when after you die and respawn, on the top right of the screen, it shows who shot you and how much damage they dealt to you. And if you pay close attention there, since the Season 2 Reloaded update, oftentimes it will show as 149 damage that killed you, which seems to imply that everybody's got 149 HP now rather than 150. Now, it's equally possible that this is just a display bug, and we actually do have 150 HP, but something's just screwing up with how it's displaying those values in the top right. I did try to hop on and test this by dealing exactly 149 damage to people to see if that would end up getting a kill, but it's just so incredibly difficult to hit the exact body multipliers within the exact damage ranges in order to get exactly 149 damage when they're obviously shooting back at you and trying to kill you. So you'd have to get lucky and find an AFK player, which I was unable to do, unfortunately. So I can't confirm at this point whether or not we actually have 149 or 150 HP in public matches, but it's something I wanted to point out just because I know a lot of people have been bringing this up. When it comes to this one, even if we do have 149 health instead of 150, this isn't going to change the outcome of the vast majority of situations you find yourself in. Like I said, it would require that perfect combination of body multipliers within perfect ranges for that to ever make a difference anyway, but hopefully they can get this resolved just to at least clear up some confusion surrounding this. Next, another thing that I noticed that's quite strange with this update is on Quarry, there is a random asset that's now just right in the middle of the open, and this will actually block bullets. You can use this as a piece of cover. This is just an obvious bug that should be easy for them to resolve. Next up, after this update, I've had a lot of people coming to me telling me they think a certain gun got nerfed or another gun got buffed, for instance, and I've seen this with a variety of weapons. I went in, did the testing on these, and it seems like none of the weapons themselves have been stealth nerfed or stealth buffed, at least none of the ones that I've tested so far. However, it does appear they may have made some adjustments to various attachments in this game, and unfortunately, I can't keep track of every attachment in the game. That's just ridiculous. However, something that several people have pointed out to me so far is several of the muzzles, including a lot of the suppressors, now improve firing aim stability on your gun, whereas previously that didn't appear in the pros section. Now, since this stat isn't actually quantified anywhere and this wasn't mentioned in the patch notes, I honestly don't know if these attachments already gave us firing aim stability pre-patch, but they just failed to list it in the pros, and now they've just updated the description, or if they've actually buffed these attachments and added that extra firing aim stability. Unfortunately, that would have required me to have pre-patch testing using just that one specific attachment, which I just don't have saved, unfortunately. But it is something I wanted to point out anyway. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for today's video on just a handful of things that weren't immediately obvious, as well as a bunch of issues that popped up with the Season 2 Reloaded update. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments below. Have any of you run into any other issues or noticed any other new things that weren't mentioned in the patch notes that I didn't mention in today's video? If so, please let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.